Hello all, welcome to another edition of Thanks Formed. I'm your host, Francisca Guayo, here to give you a cup of positivity and a side of possibilities and always a breakthrough. So come on in. So check it out. We are growing. So if you are on this live, two things. Thank you for being here. And would you do me a favor and share, like, comment? Let me know where you're coming in from. If it's your first time joining us, put a 1 in the chat. I want to salute you and know where you're coming from and give you some acknowledgement. Also, if you catch us on a replay, it's okay because God's word is timeless and you're still going to be blessed. Just hashtag replay so that we can acknowledge you. If you have any questions throughout the live, even if it's a replay, please comment questions, throw them in the comments. I love to read through them. So today I'm super excited. Guess what your girl is doing, what I'm up to. I'm gonna spill the beans. So, little secret, I have been silently working on my John Maxwell certification, and I want to be able to come on here and share with you all this amazing book. This amazing book is mind-blowing. It's called The 15 Invaluable Laws of, you guessed it, what we're all about, growth. Yes. So as I prepare for the mastermind of this book, I am going to be spilling some nuggets here with you all. Today, I am going to go through one of the laws, and I want to share with you all. And if you like what you hear and you want to know more, then guess what? You can sign up to the mastermind class. That's going to be super awesome. So yeah, be able to share, tag somebody. You know, if you're getting value, don't be stingy. Share the value with others. Let me know where you're coming in from. Let me know if you share. Just hashtag share too. And when you get value, hashtag value. Let me know what value is it. What is it that opened up for you? I want to be able to interact with you all. And I'm going to take my own advice. And I am also going to share. And we're going to get right into it. So come on in. Get your cup of tea, get your cup, your favorite beverage. It is really super hot, y'all, today. I don't know how hot it is where you're looking in from, but definitely was hot today. So I got my iced tea with me this time. So what I'm so excited to share with you guys in this book is I'm a big John C. Maxwell fan. I've read his 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. That was amazing. I'm going to do a mastermind on that one too. But I thought this right here, for the season that we're in and growing, training, and developing ourselves, it's definitely worth taking a look at. So here we go. We're going to talk about one of the laws in here, and it's talking about the law of pain. And what he says is that good management of bad experiences leads to great growth. Now, how does that? Like, how is that? How is that even possible? Like, you think about pain and you do not think about growth. You don't think about, oh, that sounds really good. That sounds like something I wanna do, right? It's not. It's definitely not something we want to do. But you know, I'm probably dating myself. When I was younger, we used to watch a show and I absolutely loved it. It was called Growing Pains. And in the Growing Pains show, it was all about these kids growing up and their parents, you know, dealing with them growing up and how painful it was, right? And that's what I want to share with you guys. And if you guys have anything, if anyone has anything that you want to share about what has been the most painful part of your growth, what have you grown through, right? I always say we don't go through anything, we grow through everything. And that's what we really want to be able to do. We want to be able to grow through whatever it is that we are in the process of. Anything of change can be uncomfortable, but that's okay because growth begins with you. So he talks about this law of pain. So now it's a law, because the law of pain says that the good management of what? Of bad experiences leads to great growth. And it's necessary to grow. This is a law tough. This is a law, but it's also a tough pill to swallow, because pain is something that naturally we don't want to go through it. We don't, which is probably why I only had one child. It was enough for me to know that I didn't want to go through that pain again. Kudos to you. You have more than one child. Like, you're amazing. I couldn't do it. I was like, no, that was the worst thing I ever went through. I don't want to go through it again. And we try to really avoid pain at all costs. We really try to avoid it. We don't want nothing to do with it. If anything is painful, you tend to flee from it. You tend to avoid it. You tend to procrastinate. And that actually goes with anything that's not just painful, like if you can feel the pain, like you get hurt or cut or something like that, but actually pain on learning a new software, on learning how to deal with this new social media era, on learning how to deal with, all this stuff that has to do with starting your own business, starting ministry, the laws, the taxes, the QuickBooks. That sounds painful all in itself, right? How do we manage that? How do we manage that kind of pain and knowing that it's actually good for us? So we naturally avoid it, but this law is about teaching. It's about teaching us, teaching you, teaching me, because I'm learning right along with you, how to turn the bad into good. Okay, that's what we're going to learn, because there's got to be a sense of, you know what, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. You know how they say it's not going to be easy, but it's definitely going to be worth it? Yeah, definitely going to be worth it. Definitely. Why not? If there's anything that you've grown through and now you can say, you know what, it was worth it, right? I know, I've been there. I'm like, oh, you know what? I went through a whole year in the middle of a pandemic, like smack in the middle. We were sitting in class one day, and the same day, our center manager was like, guess what? Government just shut everything down, put everybody on mandatory lockdown. Go home. We'll get in contact with you guys. And guess what? We're doing the whole program that's meant to be live and in person on Zoom. And I did that along with 30 other people in Philadelphia, which was my center. Along with, I think it was like 300 and something people around the country and in other places of the world that we took on doing that. And it was so painful. It was so frustrating. But was it worth it? Absolutely. We are a whole new generation. We broke, we paved the way for others, right? And isn't that exciting that you're able to grow, train, and develop yourself, and maybe break a generational curse in your family? Maybe you're the first person to go to college, and you're going through these pains because you've never known what it was to fill out an application or do an essay, or just anything that has to do with that. Or you're going into a new career and no one in your family has ever been a lawyer, or no one in your family has ever been a pastor. That's me. And you're like, I don't know, I'm afraid, and this is painful because I gotta do this process. But I just want you to look at it and let's flip that, and let's say a little bit that the pain is worth it. What is the reward? When we grow through that pain, what is the reward that we feel that we accomplished? Oh, there's no greater feeling in the world than accomplishment. There's no greater feeling than your Father up in heaven saying, you know what? I am so proud of you because you are finally moving in the purpose that I created you for, right? At least that's what I strive for. So even though it's a tough pill to swallow, because pain is something that we naturally avoid, but this law is about teaching you and me, teaching us how to turn out bad experiences into positive steps leading to our success. Yes. It leads to your success. I know you don't believe me. I know you're like, no, girl, you don't know, this is painful. We all have them. And let me guess, no one likes them, right? I know I don't. So let's do a little experiment. Raise your hand or put some fire in the chat. Raise your hand emoji. Put some fire in the chat. Let's experiment with something. If you love bad experiences, yeah. Do you love bad experiences? Likely no. I'm not going to get no fire in the chat. I'm not going to get no one raising their hand. I'm not shocked, but I'm shocked. No one really likes a bad experience. Really? Okay. Now raise your hand if you like bad experiences. Nobody again? Interesting. How that works, huh? No one loves them or even likes them. No. How about if you maybe kind of, sort of, wouldn't mind a bad experience? Yeah? No, still? Okay. I still can't get nobody. Nobody's going to be on board for that, huh? All right. Not a problem. It's not a problem. So, when John C. Maxwell talks about good management of bad experiences leads to great growth. Good management of bad experiences. Let's break that down. Good management of bad experiences leads to great growth. The only thing I can think of, like, that comes to my mind automatically is emotions and having that emotional intelligence, where I can remember many times where anger and like reacting quickly to whatever it was, whatever. It could have been someone in the grocery store tending me out, in the restaurant as I'm, getting my food wrong. I mean, you name it. I was just like, ah. And what that was I was not having good management of my emotions. So therefore, if I was not able to manage my emotions, I was mismanaging my life, because I was allowing my reactions and my emotions to take over and cause this strife. Now, fast forward years later, I can have good management of those same bad emotions. Those same things that used to trigger me can still trigger me. They can still push that button. I still do not like, when I go somewhere and I get horrible service, I'm like, why are you working at a place and you are like mad that you're at work and you're upset at me because you gotta serve me, right? I still get that way, but it's how I manage those bad experiences. It leads to great growth. You know why? Because now the person I am today is not the same person I was before. I would give strife with strife and it would be ugly. But now when I see that, I have compassion and I'm like, wow, I know you're mad you're working here. You're upset. I'd be upset if I had to work here too. I get it. I can appreciate how hard it is to deal with people every day, all day, standing on your feet, scanning products, as I too was a cashier once upon a time. So I have that compassion to manage how I feel, and then to actually not judge but educate them and give them my compassion, where I'll turn that attitude or that bad vibe and I'll give them something to smile about. I'll encourage them. I'll thank them and I'll acknowledge them. And after 3 minutes with me, their whole day is turned around. And I'm like, you know what? If no one has ever told you today, and I'm pretty sure no one has, Mr. Cashier, but thank you for serving me. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. They look at me like I'm nuts, like I'm crazy. They really do. But at the end of the day, they're like, wow. So that's my job now, is to take my bad experience and manage it well so that I can experience a great growth in me and growth in them as well. And who is it that I'm managing that with? And then it says, the law of pain, learn it. Every problem introduces a person to himself. Every problem introduces a person to himself. Everyone has bad experiences. Pain is unavoidable. But listen to that, every problem introduces a person to himself. Really, it does. It does. It introduced me to a person of myself where, you know, when someone would give me really like, I don't even know the word to say, but they would just give bad service. They would not give good service in a restaurant, right? I would come in to eat, and I can cook this stuff at home, probably cheaper, more healthier, but you go out for the experience, for the ambiance. And for me, as a former waitress, when I was young, I was a server, and I'm like, I took pride in serving my guests. Like I served with a smile, no matter what I was going through at the time or how much my feet hurt. It was just the expectancy, right? So what I found out is that those problems that I have introduces a new person to me of, guess what? I'm going to tell myself, self-righteousness. Ay, pica. It picas, right? I know. But it's the truth, and we're not going to sugarcoat stuff. It's the truth. You know, that's what it opened up. It opened up self-righteousness. I'm right, you're wrong. And I'm like, wow. When I saw that in myself, I was like, nah, I don't want that. That's not who I am, right? But if it wasn't for that problem, I wouldn't be introduced to that version of myself. I wouldn't have been able to be made aware of that version of myself, and therefore I wouldn't be able to correct that version of myself and to really dig deep and find out why I felt that way. So that's amazing right there. Every problem introduces a person to himself. Because why? Right? We don't realize it until the problem comes up. You don't realize it. Like, wait a minute, I have that problem. Oh, and you find out why. The bottom line with this law is that everyone has bad experiences. We can't avoid them. Some of us run from them. I do. I do not like going shopping. I'm just telling on myself. I should just name this live telling on myself, because I'm just telling on myself. I do not like going shopping. I'm partly that 1% of female that does not go shopping. I detest it. I don't like going to any store. I don't care what store it is. I do not like to go to the store, right? I buy everything online, including, yes, groceries. Yes, I get my fresh cucumbers and papayas delivered to my house as well. I am not playing. That is the most frustrating place I don't like to go and I avoid is the market. I don't know about you, but it's just something about when I'm trying to look for something I want and then you have someone behind you, someone next to you, trying to make a left, trying to make a right. No, I'm not finna deal with that. Just telling on myself. So some of us run from them. Some of us do whatever, a little bit. Like me, I'll do a little bit. If I do gotta go to a grocery store because I need something right away and I'm really not trying to wait for the delivery, or I'm not gonna pay for a delivery for 1 or 2 items, then yeah, I'll go to the grocery and I'll still go and be like, oh, I just want to hurry up and get in and out. I try my best. So you either avoid it or you try your best to deal with it as little as possible. And then others embrace it. I'm not there yet. Not with groceries. No matter what. Still, we can't avoid them. We can't avoid them because, like I said, I still have to go to a grocery store once in a while to buy things that I need. Right? I still need to, even if I don't want to go the whole full-blown shopping, pick something up. So I really can't avoid it. Embracing it, yeah, I kind of do have to embrace it, because if I gotta go and get that bread, I'm gonna be like, okay, let me just go real quick, embrace it, and get it over with, because I can't avoid it. Listen, those who embrace, I give you kudos. Good job. They're the leaders. Leaders who choose to learn from difficult and very challenging experiences. Like, this is all fun and games and we're talking about a grocery store, but there's one thing that I have embraced that I know is very uncomfortable, and it's transformation. Transformation in the past couple of years, since about 2014, I want to say my true transformation where I really embraced it and I had I know if you can relate to this, was the pandemic. Really putting myself through that rigorous program in the middle of that pandemic, with everything that was going on and learning and doing it, and then the growth that I went through and the challenges that I had to face, I embraced them because I saw who I was becoming. I saw who I was discovering myself to be. I was taking off those layers of what the world told me I was and really getting to know me all the way to the root. I really embraced that, and I'm glad I did that. I wouldn't be here talking with you today if it wasn't because I embraced that, right? So even though it's challenging, that's what it is. It's, you can embrace it. And then he talks about every problem introduces, okay, we said that. So he talks about pain files. This here, the pain of incompetence. I should have seen that coming. Don't do that. The pain of financial loss. If I could only get that back. The pain of not being number one. I would be at the top if it wasn't for. The pain of change. What are they doing? They should have listened to me. So many people take the should've, would've, could've path. Listen, when dealing with bad experiences, we don't want to take that path. No, just consider some of the types of pain we face. The pain of incompetence. I should have seen that coming. Okay, but you didn't. You didn't. So why are you going to stress yourself out telling yourself, I should have seen that coming? What is that going to do for you? Like, learn from the failure. Take it on and be like, oh, okay, I got this next time. The pain of the financial loss. Oh man, if I could only go, but you can't go back. So why dwell on it? You can't go back. What are you going to do in your future to avoid that? Or what are you going to do in the future to better prepare yourself for that? Or we have children and grandchildren that we can be able to speak and speak life into and let them learn from what our experiences have been, right? And then how about the one that I love, is like the top of it is not being number one. I don't know. Why is that so important to some people? But it is. I would have been there if it wasn't for. And then you look for me, that opens up a blame game. That opens up, why are you saying if it wasn't for so-and-so or this and that situation? Those are excuses. You're not number one because you're not doing what it takes to be number one. I mean, that's just my perspective. So that, my friends, that's the law of pain. And that's some of the points that John C. Maxwell talks about in this mastermind class that I'm going to be giving for the whole entire book. But I like what he says here, the law of pain, live it. Become bitter or switch that letter around and become better. The choice is definitely yours. How to turn pain into gain. Listen, it really does. You can definitely. I am a living, walking testimony. You can definitely turn pain into gain. A positive life stance, embrace the value of bad experiences, and make good changes. That's the key right there. You make good changes. You renew your mind. You transform your life by doing the things that it takes to change. Challenge yourself. Stretch yourself. The Bible says in Isaiah 54 to stretch your tents. Okay, and I know that the stretching can be uncomfortable, but just like a bow and arrow, when you stretch it all the way back, you stretch it back, and you don't just, it's not like, there's a difference between a bow and arrow and the little beanie poppers things, if you know what I'm talking about, slingshot type stuff. That you can just like sling it any way you want, but to have a bow and arrow, there's a prestige to that. And there's a stance. You see how he talks about a positive life stance? There's a stance that you take, and that is a position, and the way you hold that bow and arrow, and the way you stretch, and I was watching the Olympics the other day, and that is heavy. It's some really serious stuff. Them girls that were doing it, they have some muscles on their arms. So to be able to take a stance and to be able to pull back and have that, your eye on the target, on the prize, and be able to then let it go and see how that arrow goes straight right where you said it's going to go, where you point to, where you've been practicing. You know what? You don't get the bullseye all the time. The first time even, you don't get the bullseye. But you practice and you continue and you make the changes, right? You can say to yourself, I'm talking about the bow and arrow, but I want you to see this in your own life, in your own perspective of what is going on with you. So we're talking about a bow and arrow and a target, right? And if you hit it, if you align yourself, you stance, you get ready, get prepared, and when the arrow goes, it doesn't hit the bullseye. You then have to see and say, okay, what's missing in my performance? How do I stand better? 9 out of 10 times, you can't see it for yourself. That's why you have a coach. I don't understand how we have a coach for everything in life. Everything in life, every single game, every sport, we have a coach. In boxing, you have a coach. In soccer, you have a coach. In archery, in double dutch, you have a coach. But in life, we don't have a coach unless we choose to. And people sometimes think that it's weird. Listen, the game of life is the most important game you are going to play, and you must play full out. Therefore, you shouldn't have a coach. I have 4. Okay, some people have 8. I know my mentors that mentor me and my coaches that coach me, they have 8 coaches. And I'm looking at them like, wow, yeah, but their life works. Why? Because if you're standing there and you're trying to accomplish what you want to accomplish, there are these blind spots that you can't see. So your coach has to come over and tell you this is how you're going to stand. You're going to stand this way. You're going to pull your arm this way. Example, like my sister, she plays softball, but her kids play baseball, and she loves baseball. Like my little sister, her side of the family, her father's side of the family, they all love baseball. And my nephew was going through something, and he was like, hitting the ball. And mind you, they're like maybe 5 or 6 years old, and she's trying to get them. And that's a whole other story. But the kid is like, with the bat. And she was like, no, squat your legs this way. Put your feet apart. Hold the bat up front. And he said, this is good, man. This is good. He said, I don't like it. I'm uncomfortable. But guess what happened when he did it uncomfortable, the way his coach, his mom told him to do it? He hit the ball. He finally got to hit the ball. And what happened to that little boy was amazing. He went from his shoulders down and not liking the game and not wanting to play and being frustrated and feeling hard and saying I can't do it, to his whole face lit up, and he was like, I did it, Mommy. I hit the ball. And she was able to tell her son, you see? You can do it. Okay? And he just kept practicing and keeps practicing. That's life, y'all. I don't know why I have to tell you, but that's life. That's exactly how life goes. You're sitting here beating yourself up because this happened, this pain, but you know what? Turn that pain into gain and check your stance. See where you're standing. See where you at. Embrace the fact that you're going to get better and better. And make the changes to get better and better. And hire a coach is the best thing you can actually do. Someone who is for you and want to see you win in life and whatever it is that you're up to. If you're up to big things in life, if you're not up to nothing, you're not doing much, then don't get a coach, because you don't need a coach to help you not do nothing. And you probably don't care about your blind spots. But if you care about your blind spots and you care about, when you get a coach, I remember when I first started, I was all over the place in my business. I didn't know where to do. I had no clarity. I was a mess for years. I think like 8 years of my career, I was just like all over the place. Honey, I got a coach, and in 3 months or less, I got so much clarity. I got so much. It was like this time, it was a catapult. And I went from being all over the place to a direct path because someone was telling me things that maybe I didn't want to hear, because some of the things you don't want to hear, But if you humble yourself and you become coachable, you see that your coaches want to see you win, so they'll tell you the things that you need. They correct you in love. Okay? That's what we have our pastors and our ministers and our apostles and for. And some of us just don't want to hear it. And what is that costing you in life? That's right there expensive and even more painful. So being able to turn the pain to gain, embrace it, and practice your stance and just keep getting better and better, that's the way to grow. That is exactly the way that you want to grow. That's the key word, grow. All right. And how do you apply this law to your life? Ask you the question of the night, like the $1 million question, right? How do you deal with your pain? Ask yourself that tonight. How do you usually deal with your pain? Do you avoid it? Do you avoid it at all costs? Or do you endure it because you have to? Do you embrace the pain and stay positive? Yeah. That's great, you know? But ask yourself the questions. Really ask yourself those questions. Instead of just like trucking through life like a bulldozer and then moving forward. What are we going to do to move forward? What are we going to we're going to do to move forward after we identify the specific change that we want to make? After we identify, what it is that we are avoiding and what it is that we can do, and above all else, personal growth, you must take action. It's part of the growing process. So I want to be able to share more and more with you. If you enjoyed this law of pain and you want to know more and you want to go more into depth and actually be in a group with me in a one-on-one mastermind class, whether it's on Zoom, if you're local, I'm looking in the local colleges to see where we can go and meet together now that things are opening up, and we want to still have like that one-on-one, maybe grab some lunch or something. But if not, we can definitely do it through Zoom. I'm taking on small group coaching mastermind for this book and this John C. Maxwell class that I'm going to be doing with this book. This book has really changed the perspective of my life on how it is that I am willing to grow myself. And then one thing I did learn that is, the success of me is what I invest in me. That makes me successful. Me, as I'm talking to all of us, as in a person. So the success of you is what you invest in you. The success of us is what we invest in us. But get this. So you're a hot success. Kudos to you. But what about the significance? The significance that you can make is by pouring into others. So we learn to earn to then be able to pour out into others so then they can learn. And guess what? Because if you stay full on the same thing, you have no room for new growth. So I'd rather grow and pass it along so that I can continue to grow and continue to get more. I don't want to hold on to the same knowledge and the same understanding. I want to be able to get it, chew the meat, spit out the bones, digest it, impart it into my heart, write it on the tablet of my heart, have it in my mind, give it forth, and be able to move on to the next lesson in life. That is what it's about. Growing, training, and developing yourself in the best version of you, who you were created to be, and whatever aspect of your life that's important to you. That's my time today. I am so happy I was able to share that with you. You know how I get excited. I want to be able to share with you all. So just leave me those comments. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube page, just hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share. Sharing is caring. Don't be stingy. If you're growing, allow others to grow with you. I love you guys. Take care. Till next time.